I'm Savannah, and today I'm going to be talking about Anne Bradstreet. So, before I get into what her influence was like and what her life was like, I want to say why I chose Anne Bradstreet to be my author. When I looked at the list of authors, I ran to Anne Bradstreet as my first person to research because I saw that she was the only woman on the list. Now, as a woman myself, I was really interested to see what her history was like and to see if it was really hard for a female writer during that time to have an influence and how she was able to do that. So, let's begin with some general information about Anne Bradstreet. Anne Bradstreet was married with 8 children, and she moved to Massachusetts Bay in 1630. She was a writer of poetry, and she wrote in secret for 17 years. After that time, her brother-in-law came and visited, and it's unclear whether or not he stole her writing or she gave him the writing, but either way, he took the writing and then 3 years later published it. Now, the really important part is that whenever he published her writing, her name was not included in the publishing, nor was it put anywhere in the writing. She was actually the first published author in colonial America, which is very cool and very influential because she was a woman. Normally, you would want to take credit for your writing, but under these circumstances, it was actually really smart that she didn't. So, during the time of the Puritans, women were expected to be homemakers, to take care of their children and their husband. Men were supposed to be the providers. They were able to share their opinions and their ideas. Women were not given the same privilege. It was actually heavily frowned upon for women to do so. Women could be convicted or killed, and that would have really harmed her family. So, under these circumstances, she was actually very smart in writing in secret because she was still able to express her writing, express her creativity, use it as an outlet without harming her reputation and her family. Now, you may be wondering, what was her education like? Because like I said, the gender roles were very strict and it was very frowned upon for women to have an opinion. But also, the church was very important to them and they wanted women to have some sort of education so that they could read scripture and could read their Bible. So women were actually allowed or were supposed to learn to read and write. And that's where Anne Bradstreet got her initial education from. Now, you can see her education and especially her personality expressed through her writing. She wrote about her family and society. She wrote about the church. That was a really big part of it. During that time, of course, it was really hard to question the church or to discuss what your concerns were, what your individual beliefs were, and she used writing as an outlet to discuss her concerns or to ask her questions. And whenever these works were published, they were very popular due to kind of the controversy of the writing. She also talked about the love for her husband. She had one poem in particular dedicated to her love for her husband. And in that poem, I kind of found it ironic because she was talking about how great her marriage was and she was comparing it to other women's marriage. And in a way, she framed it as if her marriage was superior to their marriage, which you can tell that she has a lot of irony and wit and personality that is expressed through her writing. I think the reason why Anne Bradstreet was so influential and is still influential today is because the circumstances that she was in. Not only was she the first published author in colonial America, but she was also a woman. She was very smart in the way that she chose to write. And you could see that it was really important to her because despite the stigma against a woman having an opinion or a woman having creativity, she still chose to write. and she expressed and published some really great work that is still being read today. So, thank you.